Imagine this challenge. You're trying to guide a whole room full of people learning English. But some are just starting out, like barely walking, while others, they're ready for a marathon. That's pretty much the reality for a lot of ESL teachers, right? Classrooms just packed with different skill levels.
Yeah, it's a real puzzle. Some students might feel totally overwhelmed, kind of drowning, and others are probably sitting there bored thinking, okay, what's next?
Exactly. It's a situation we're seeing more and more.
It really is. And it's a serious juggling act for educators trying to meet all those different needs at the same time.
Right. And that's exactly what we're getting into today. We're exploring how artificial intelligence, AI, is stepping up, how it's becoming this powerful tool to navigate the complexities of these mixed level ESL classes.
And hopefully make learning better for everyone involved.
Yes. So in this deep dive, we'll look at the specific hurdles these kinds of classrooms throw up.
Mm-hmm. Then we'll get into the AI tech that's actually relevant here. What does it do?
And after that, we'll look at real ways AI can help design, really targeted activities.
Activities that actually work for different levels. Plus, how it might boost engagement, motivation.
And even assessment, how we measure progress.
Yeah, the whole package.
So think of this as your shortcut. You get to understand how AI can help make ESL learning more inclusive, more effective. We've waded through the research to pull out the key stuff, maybe some surprising ideas too.
And we'll try hard to skip the heavy technical jargon.
Okay, let's unpack this then. What makes teaching these mixed-level ESL classes so uniquely challenging to begin with?
Well, the big thing our sources point to is just the sheer diversity. It's huge. You've got students coming in with wildly different language backgrounds.
Right, not just different first languages.
No, and also just varying levels of skill, reading, writing, listening, speaking. They can be all over the place. Then add in different educational histories, different learning speeds, different experiences with English before they even got here.
Wow.
It creates this, well, a really rich environment for sure, but one that needs a very subtle approach from the teacher.
Right. It's not just that no more words, it's everything. So what are the big difficulties this creates for teachers, like day-to-day, planning lessons?
Well, a primary one is just designing activities that actually land with everyone. You need stuff that's accessible, right? So lower level students don't just shut down.
Makes sense.
But it also has to be stimulating, engaging enough for the more advanced students so they don't tune out.
Finding that sweet spot.
Exactly. And providing the right kind of language input, the right practice for such a wide range.
Right.
It's tough. Think about a listening exercise. What works for an intermediate learner might just, completely swamp a beginner.
Or bore an advanced one.
Precisely.
Yeah, that one-size-fits-all approach just doesn't cut it, does it?
Not at all.
And it's more than just the activities, isn't it?
Right.
What about just managing the room, the dynamics?
Oh, classroom management definitely gets trickier. Students learn at different speeds, so they need different amounts of attention. A teacher can feel constantly pulled in like 10 directions at once, trying to give that tailored support.
Which probably disrupts the flow for everyone else.
It can, yeah.
Oh.
And as Gackano and Miller pointed out a few years back, this constant need for individual focus, it ramps up the mental load, the emotional toll on teachers.
Burnout again.
It's a real risk, definitely.
Wow, sounds exhausting. And how do you even figure out how everyone's doing? How do you assess progress fairly when they start so far apart?
Assessment, yeah, that's another big one. How do you evaluate fairly when abilities and improvement rates vary so much? Often you need different ways to measure progress, maybe different rubrics.
So it's complicated.
It is. Keeping everyone motivated, making sure they're all moving forward across these different levels, it's a really delicate balance.
Okay, so given these challenges, what are some of the, established ways teachers try to handle this diversity?
Our sources mentioned a couple of key things. Yes, differentiation is huge, absolute central. Tomlinson talked about this back in 2014. It's about adapting things, the actual content, how students work with it, how they show what they've learned.
Tailoring it.
Exactly. Tailoring it to match their different language levels, but also maybe their interests, their learning styles. This might mean grouping students strategically sometimes, or giving tasks with different levels of support built in.
Or just letting them show understanding in different ways.
Right. Offering choices.
And the other big piece was keeping students plugged in, engaged, right?
Absolutely. Keeping respectful engagement high across all levels is just vital. When students feel seen, feel like the challenge is right for them, their motivation goes up.
And if it's too easy or way too hard?
They check out. Simple as that. Vygotsky's idea from way back in '78, the Zone of Proximal Development, the ZPD. It's super relevant here.
Remind us what that is.
Basically, it's teaching at a level just slightly beyond what a student can do alone. Challenging, but achievable with the right support.
Okay, so pushing them gently, but with a safety net.
That's a good way to put it.
But our sources also flagged why the usual stuff textbooks, worksheets often fall short here.
Yeah, that's right. Your standard ESL textbook or worksheet. It's usually aimed at a pretty specific level. These, static materials, they just don't have that built-in flexibility you need to adjust things on the fly for mixed group.
Even if they have extra bits.
Well, yeah, publishers might offer supplements or leveled readers, but the core stuff often stays pretty rigid. It rarely works perfectly for everyone in that room.
And it's not just about the initial fit, is it? It's also about how the materials respond, or rather, don't respond.
Exactly. Static materials, they don't adapt as the student learns. They can't adjust difficulty based on how a student is doing or give the teacher real-time data on engagement.
So the teacher has to do all the adjusting manually.
Right. Modifying tasks, creating different versions. It's incredibly time-consuming. Our sources basically say it's often just not sustainable long-term. And even if you digitize these old resources like Wink and Gertler mentioned, you often just end up with the same limitations just on a screen. You're not really tapping into what technology could do.
Okay, so this is the opening for AI. This is where it potentially offers something different. How can these AI-powered tools help get past the limits of the old ways?
Well, AI is exciting here because these systems can actually process information about individual learners. And they use that data to dynamically adjust task difficulty, suggest personalized content, give feedback right away.
So it learns about the student.
In a sense, yes.
Yeah.
And these tools can generate activities across different skill levels with much less manual work for the teacher. This means you can actually do differentiated instruction on a bigger scale.
Can you give us some concrete examples? What might that actually look like?
Sure. Our sources talk about AI chatbots, for instance. They can have conversations with students that are actually matched to their language level. Great practice for speaking and writing,
Less intimidating than talking in front of everyone.
Definitely. Then you've got text generation tools. They can whip up reading passages where you control the vocabulary, the sentence complexity, almost instantly. And automated assessment tools can give individual feedback, letting students move at their own speed without the teacher grading every single thing by hand.
That sounds like it could genuinely free up teachers, let them focus on other things.
Precisely. If AI handles some of the admin, some of the basic differentiation, teachers get more time for the human side of teaching.
Like mentoring.
Mentoring, facilitating discussions, really digging into understanding, building relationships. It fits with this modern idea of the teacher as a learning experience designer, not just a content delivery machine.
Okay, AI definitely seems promising here. Let's zoom in on the tech itself for a minute. What are the main AI technologies that are really relevant for teaching and learning English as a second language?
Yeah, our sources point to a few key ones making waves in ESL. First up is natural language processing, NLP.
Okay, what's that?
Think of it as the AI's ability to, understand and produce human language. It's what powers apps that check grammar, analyze pronunciation, give feedback on writing or speaking.
Like Grammarly.
Exactly. Grammarly, Microsoft Editor. They use NLP to look at sentence structure, meaning style, all in real time. Jurafsky and Martin wrote about this. It's pretty sophisticated stuff now.
So NLP handles the language itself. What about the AI that gets smarter as it goes?
That's machine learning. That's fundamental. It lets software systems actually improve based on the data they encounter.
How does that apply to ESL?
Well, in ESL, machine learning lets platforms adapt to how a student is doing. It personalizes the content they see, maybe even flags areas where they're struggling. This adaptive quality is really key for giving challenges that are just right, not too hard, not too easy. Supports better learning, like Zawacki Richter and others discussed.
Okay, NLP for language, machine learning for adapting.
Yeah.
What about those AI programs you can actually talk to?
Right, chatbots. They use either preset rules or, more often now, machine learning models to simulate conversation. In ESL, they're great for offering real-time practice, speaking, writing.
In different situations.
Yeah, various scenarios. Ordering coffee, asking directions. It helps build fluency and confidence in a lower stakes setting. Fryer's team highlighted this.
Sounds like a great way to practice without feeling judged. And lastly, this AI that can actually create new stuff.
Yes, generative AI. That's the big one everyone's talking about. Models like ChatGPT, they can write original text, answer questions, summarize things, simulate dialogues.
How's that useful for ESL teachers?
Hugely useful. Generating different reading passages on the fly, vocabulary drills, writing prompts, grammar exercises, all tailored, with much less effort than doing it manually.
So these different AI types, they're not just working alone, are they? They're being built into the tools teachers might already use.
Exactly. They're usually embedded inside bigger digital platforms, language learning apps, classroom management systems. These platforms use the AI to deliver content better, automate feedback, help teachers and students communicate.
Can you give us some names? Specific platforms using AI.
Sure. Duolingo is a classic example. It relies heavily on machine learning to tweak exercise difficulty, suggest reviews based on how you're doing. Settles and Meter wrote about how they use data from millions of users to constantly refine that adaptive experience.
Okay. Any others?
Then you've got platforms from big publishers like Cambridge One or Oxford English Hub. They're integrating AI for diagnostic tests. These tests help teachers see where students are, pinpoint areas needing more support, helps make teaching more targeted.
And AI is also helping bridge language gaps too, right? Making things more accessible.
Absolutely. AI integration offers huge support for multilingual learners. Think translation tools, speech recognition, things like Google's Read Along or Microsoft's Immersive Reader. They use voice assistants and other features to lower barriers, help learners access English resources more independently.
Wow, okay. It sounds like there's quite a toolkit emerging for teachers. Our sources broke down some specific free and paid options. Let's start with free. What can teachers try right now without spending anything?
Yeah, there are some great free starting points. The free version of ChatGPT from OpenAI. Super versatile. You can get writing prompts, grammar drills, comprehension questions, role-play dialogues. Lots of possibilities.
Okay, what else?
Quillbot is good for paraphrasing and summarizing. That can help with vocab building or just making complex texts easier to grasp. Rewordify is another one, specifically designed to simplify difficult English text, makes authentic materials more accessible. And, Google Translate. With its NLP improvements, it gives much better contextual translations now. Good for quick vocab checks or understanding gist. Oh, and Quizlet AI. You upload your content, and it generates flashcards and quizzes automatically. Great for personalized review.
That's a pretty solid list of free tools. What about pet options? What extra bang do you get for your buck?
Paid tools often offer, more advanced features, deeper analysis. Grammarly Premium gives really detailed grammar feedback, tone suggestions, helps polish writing overall. Great for intermediate to advanced folks.
Makes sense?
WordTune offers different ways to rewrite sentences based on your goal: formal, casual, shorter, longer, more nuanced than basic paraphrasing. Text Help Read and Write is quite comprehensive. Text-to-speech, translation, vocab support all rolled into one. Really helpful for diverse needs.
For pronunciation.
Elsa Speak is the big one there. Uses AI for really specific feedback on spoken English pronunciation. And Conmigo from Khan Academy. It's like an AI teaching assistant. Can explain language concepts, offer grammar tutorials, more interactive support.
Okay, so tons of options, free and paid. With all this choice, how should a teacher actually pick the right tools for their students, their classroom? What should they look for?
Yeah, choosing wisely is key. It's not just about grabbing the shiniest new tool. Our sources stress several criteria. First off, alignment with learning goals. Does this tool actually help achieve what you want students to learn? Vocab, grammar, fluency.
Makes sense. Got to serve the purpose.
Absolutely. Adaptability is huge for mixed levels. Can the tool adjust? Offer different settings, generate content for a range of abilities. User interface is important too. Needs to be easy for both teachers and students to use without needing tons of training.
Nobody wants to fight with the tech.
Right. Integration helps too. If it plays nicely with your existing learning management system like Google Classroom or Moodle, much smoother rollout. And finally, feedback. Does it give useful feedback? Timely? Specific? Does it actually help learners improve?
That's a really practical checklist, but the core idea remains. AI is a helper, not a replacement for good teaching, yeah.
100%. AI tools work best when they're seen as aids, supporting differentiation, cutting down some teacher workload, creating engaging, tailored experiences, but they support the teacher, they don't replace them.
Okay, great. So we understand the challenges. We know about the AI tools available. Now let's get practical. How can teachers actually use these AI tools to design better, more engaging activities for all those different learners in their class?
Well, one of the most direct ways AI helps is by generating content tailored to different proficiency levels. You can prompt large language models like ChatGPT or Claude.ai to create text that matches specific CEFR levels. A1 for beginners up to C2 for advanced.
CFR.
Common European Framework of Reference for Languages is a standard way to describe language ability. This adaptability is gold for meeting varied needs in one room.
So a teacher could literally say, write a short story about a trip to the park, make one version for A2 level, one for B1, one for B2.
Exactly. With the right prompts, you can generate reading texts, fill in the blanks, writing prompts, all pitched at the right level for different groups. Take a simple prompt like, describe your favorite day. The AI can output a basic version using simple present tense for beginners.
And for advanced.
Maybe something using more figurative language, complex sentences, richer vocabulary. Same core idea, different execution.
That seems incredibly handy for tackling different reading levels on the same topic. And didn't the sources also mention tools for simplifying existing texts?
Yes, tools like TextEngine.io or Rewordify, they can take, say, a news article and automatically simplify the vocabulary and sentence structure. This means everyone can engage with the same core topic. Maybe a current event, but read about it at a level they can actually handle. Great for class discussions.
Okay, so AI can create or adapt the content. What about structuring the activities themselves, building skills step by step? You mentioned scaffolding.
That's right. Good teaching in mixed classes often relies on scaffolding building skills gradually with support. AI can help design sequences of activities that do this, moving from, say, basic recognition exercises to more open-ended creative tasks. Teachers can prompt AI to create these learning paths that build up vocabulary, grammar, or communication skills incrementally.
Can you give examples? How might that work for, say, vocabulary or grammar?
Okay, for vocab, platforms like Quizlet AI or WordWall can create tiered activities, flashcards, matching games, that adapt based on how the student does. Teachers can input word lists, specify difficulty levels, and the AI generates customized practice.
And grammar.
Grammar tools like Grammarly or Write and Improve give that real-time feedback on sentences, verbs, articles. Students learn by doing and revising. Plus, teachers can use ChatGPT to generate very specific controlled practice. Fill in the blanks targeting one grammar point, sentence combining, tailored to different levels.
Okay, makes sense. Now, what about the active skills speaking and communicating? How does AI help differentiate practice there?
Well, AI chatbots and dialogue simulators are great here. Teachers can use AI to set up realistic scenarios, ordering food, job interview practice, maybe with scripts that have gaps for students to fill in, and you can vary the complexity. Beginners might focus on key phrases, advanced learners can elaborate, use more complex language, go off script a bit.
Let's break it down by the four main skills: listening, reading, speaking, writing. Give us some concrete AI-powered differentiated activities for each, starting with listening.
Okay, listening. Teachers can use AI to find or even generate audio at different speeds or complexity levels. Platforms like Speechling or FluentU let you adjust playback speed, access transcripts, so topic, travel. Beginners might hear simple sentences, I like planes. Advanced learners get a complex dialogue with different accents talking about travel mishaps.
And comprehension questions.
AI like ChatGPT can generate those too, at different levels of depth, even for the same audio clip. Basic recall for some, inference for others.
Okay, what about reading?
Reading. Like we said, AI generates texts on one theme at multiple complexity levels. Topic, environment. Level A gets simple sentences, basic vocab. Level B gets more complex sentences, transition words. Level C gets academic vocab, varied structures. Then pair these with AI-generated questions or summary tasks, again, tailored to each level.
Makes sense. How about speaking practice? Differentiated speaking.
AI conversation simulators like TalkPal or AI English Coach. They let students practice with guided prompts or more open chats. They often have speech recognition, pronunciation feedback. That real-time feedback is huge, especially for shy students.
And tasks can vary.
Definitely. Beginners might describe a picture prompt. Advanced learners could do an AI-mediated debate or tackle a complex problem-solving scenario.
Okay, and finally, writing. How does AI help differentiate writing tasks?
AI can generate writing prompts targeting specific structures or functions. Describe a place, give an opinion, write a formal email. The expected complexity and length would vary by level. Tools like Grammarly or Write and Improve give feedback tailored to those different levels too.
Tiered prompts.
Yeah, like a beginner writes about their family. An advanced learner writes a narrative about personal growth. Same general theme, different task demands. AI can also help with revision, analyzing drafts to help students see issues with grammar, flow, or tone. Helps them become more aware of their own writing.
It really sounds like AI can help students take more control of their own learning journey. Our sources mentioned learner autonomy. How does AI help with that?
Yeah, fostering autonomy is so important, especially in mixed groups where the teacher can't be everywhere at once. AI helps by giving that instant, personalized feedback students can access anytime. They can learn at their own pace. Platforms like LingQ or the BBC Learning English chatbot let students pick topics and levels they actually like. More motivating?
Like a private tutor sometimes.
Kinda, yeah. Students can ask ChatGPT to explain a grammar rule, define a word, check a sentence. Builds confidence to experiment. But, and this is crucial, teachers need to guide this. Teach students how to use these tools effectively, how to evaluate the AI's suggestions critically.
It's a tool, not a magic wand.
Exactly. AI-integrated journals can also help students reflect, maybe use AI for brainstorming or paraphrasing ideas. And those progress trackers in apps or learning systems, they help learners see their own growth, take ownership.
So AI helps tailor the learning, but how does that keep students genuinely engaged and motivated, especially with those different starting points?
Good question. Gamification powered by AI is one big way. Duolingo, Classcraft. They use points, levels, rewards, instant feedback. But the AI part means that difficulty adapts to the individual student. It keeps them in that flow zone, challenged but not frustrated.
Finding that sweet spot again. What about connecting with their interests?
Personalization is huge for motivation. Tools like LingQ or Sora let learners pick texts or topics they actually care about at the right language level. When the content resonates, they're way more likely to put in the effort.
And the AI remembers what they like.
Yeah, it learns preferences, tracks progress, and creates learning paths that feel more personal. That's really motivating if you might otherwise feel lost or bored in a mixed class.
And that immediate feedback must help keep them going too, right?
Absolutely. Getting instant feedback from Grammarly on writing or Elsa Speak on pronunciation, it's empowering. See the mistake, fix it, move on. AI-driven formative assessment also helps, gives students actionable feedback quickly, reduces teacher grading time.
And tracking progress.
Yeah, seeing your own improvement charted in an LMS, that's a real motivator.
Beyond the mechanics, can AI make language learning more, well, creative and fun?
Definitely. AI-generated content can be a great launchpad for creativity. ChatGPT can whip up story starters, character profiles, debate topics based on teacher prompts.
Role-playing.
Yeah. Tools like Scenario by Immerse or AI Dungeon offer guided but open-ended role-play scenarios. The key is students then take these AI starting points and run with them, revise them, develop them. It's another learning opportunity, especially with good guidance or rubrics.
What about the social side? Can AI actually help students interact better with each other in these diverse groups?
That's an interesting point. We often think of AI for individual work, but it can support peer interaction. How? Well, before group work, students could use AI to prep, brainstorm ideas, look up vocab, even practice pronunciation with a tool.
Rehearsal.
Exactly. Chatbots can be rehearsal partners. Then after group work, AI might help reflect by providing transcripts or summaries. Collaborative writing. Tools like Grammarly and Google Docs help teams work together.
Managing group work.
Teachers could use AI to generate role assignments or checklists to ensure everyone participates. Even using AI translation tools like DeepL temporarily, if used responsibly, can sometimes bridge gaps initially. AI can also model polite, constructive language for giving feedback.
So AI touches individual learning and group dynamics. Let's pivot to another key area, assessment. How is AI changing how we assess ESL learners?
AI is really shaking up assessment, offering new ways for both formative and summative evaluation, especially useful in mixed-level settings. Formative assessment, that ongoing checking to guide learning, gets a big boost from AI tools giving real-time feedback.
Like Write and Improve or Grammarly?
Exactly. They give immediate feedback on writing. Students see errors and learn right in the moment. Black and William emphasized how crucial this kind of feedback is.
That sounds super helpful for learning on the go. What about the big tests at the end? Summative assessment.
For summative tests, AI can automate grading for objective questions, multiple choice, fill in the blanks, saves tons of teacher time, improves consistency. Tools like ExamSoft or AI-enhanced quizzes in Moodle can handle that. AI is also getting better at rubric-based scoring for writing, analyzing language features, though teacher oversight is still vital there.
We're also hearing more about adaptive tests. How does AI make testing adaptive?
Adaptive testing is a really smart use of AI. The test adjusts difficulty based on your answers.
So get one right, the next is harder.
Pretty much. Get one wrong, the next is easier. It quickly pinpoints your actual proficiency level by finding where you're consistently successful. Much more precise. The Duolingo English test, DET, is a well-known example using this AI approach.
And AI helps track progress over the long haul too, giving teachers the bigger picture.
Absolutely. Proficiency tracking via AI. Learning systems like Khan Academy or Google Classroom Analytics gather performance data over time. They can show trends, highlight areas where students are struggling collectively or individually. This helps teachers make much more informed decisions about instruction, grouping, resources.
It also sounds like AI makes it easier for teachers to create their own tests, customized for their students.
Yes, definitely. Making quizzes for different levels used to take ages. AI streamlines it. Platforms like ChatGPT, Quizzes AI, Conquer. You can feed them text, themes, vocab lists, specify a CEFR level or learning objective.
And it generates questions.
Multiple choice, fill in the blank, short answer, whatever you need. You can often tweak them too. And importantly, you can quickly generate parallel versions. Same topic, same skills tested, but different difficulty for different groups in your class.
Okay, so you've got all this data, automated feedback. How do teachers make sure the feedback is actually effective and targeted for students across that whole proficiency range?
Providing that differentiated feedback is absolutely crucial. It's not just about getting feedback, but getting the right feedback. AI writing tools like Write and Improve or WordTune can often tailor feedback. Beginners might get comments on basic grammar, sentence structure. Advanced learners, maybe feedback on coherence, style, tone.
And for speaking?
Tools like Elsa Speak or Microsoft Reading Progress give that detailed phonetic analysis. But teachers add value by embedding clear rubrics, defining expectations for each level. Hattie and Timperley talked about effective feedback, answering key questions. Where am I going? How am I doing? Where to next?
So AI provides data, teachers provide context and guidance.
Exactly. AI feedback combined with clear rubrics and teacher insights is powerful. AI can even structure peer feedback, providing level-appropriate prompts or scales so peer reviews are constructive.
Yeah, it's undeniable AI offers powerful possibilities. Looking forward, how do you see AI really reshaping the role of the ESL teacher?
Well, the role is definitely shifting. Teachers are becoming less the sole sage on the stage and more the guide on the side. More like learning designers, curators of resources, facilitators. AI can handle routine tasks, freeing teachers for the complex stuff.
Like what?
Analyzing learner needs, leading deep discussions, providing that personalized coaching and human support. It's moving towards more of a human-AI collaboration in the classroom.
So it's not AI replacing teachers, but changing what teachers focus on. What skills become most important for them in this new landscape?
In this AI-supported world, teachers need to guide students on using AI tools effectively, critically, helping them interpret AI feedback, evaluate AI-generated info. They become curators, choosing and adapting AI materials carefully, checking for bias, ensuring alignment with goals and student needs. That critical eye is key.
And the human touch?
Absolutely essential. Providing encouragement, building confidence, fostering that connection that motivates learners. It's about blending the tech with human interaction for the best results. Finding that balance.
It sounds like teachers need to keep learning, too. What kind of professional development, what support, is crucial as AI becomes more common?
Continuous professional development focused on AI literacy is vital. That means not just the how-to of using the tools, but understanding the why, the pedagogical implications, the ethical considerations, the best ways to integrate AI smoothly.
So training should cover
Things like designing AI-enhanced activities, interpreting AI feedback to inform teaching, guiding students to use AI responsibly, ethics, data privacy, big topics too, and creating spaces for teachers to share what works, collaborate, explore new tools together. Peer learning is huge. Institutions need to support this with time, resources, and access to training.
Okay, let's wrap this up. Bringing it all together, what are the headline benefits of integrating AI thoughtfully into these mixed-level ESL classrooms?
Well, we've seen AI can really help tackle those core challenges. It can streamline lesson planning, make true differentiation more achievable, boost student engagement and motivation, and ease the burden of assessment. By using tools based on NLP, machine learning, generative AI, teachers can create learning experiences that are more personalized, more responsive for every student in the room.
But always remembering it's a tool to empower the teacher, support their expertise, not replace that vital human connection.
Exactly. AI augments the teacher. It doesn't replace them. It lets them focus more on meaningful interaction, individual growth.
Yeah.
But mindful, ethical use is paramount. We need to weigh the benefits and the practicalities carefully.
Absolutely. So as we finish, what's one final thought you'd like to leave our listeners with about AI's future in ESL education?
Just consider the really exciting potential here. AI opens doors to create language learning that's more dynamic, more effective, more engaging than ever before. Think about how these tools could help you, whether you're learning or teaching, better meet diverse needs. How might you start exploring them? The field's moving fast, and the potential to really transform language education is, I think, quite significant.